Now we're on air. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of live talk series from Istanbul Blockchain Women. Today, we have a very valuable guest from Asia. Annabelle Huang from Amber Group is here with us. Thank you joining us today's show with us, Amber. I'm sorry, Annabelle.
Hi guys. My pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Also, Ayşegül Şensoy will be hosting the show today with me. Hello, Ayşegül. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
So your second webinar today, you just came out from another live one with Blockchain Turkey platform.
Yes, that's correct. We were talking about NFT. Now we will be talking about more cryptos in the gender society, crypto space. But blockchain is an amazing technology. We have a lot to talk always.
Yeah, so much topics to be covered and talked about. So just before we start, let me briefly introduce our association and our organization. Istanbul Blockchain Women is a platform for women's presence in order to increase women's presence in blockchain ecosystem, to support women, to motivate women. And this was for, we have been formed as a networking platform in 2018, but very recently have established our association. We are aiming to touch every person in the society in order to raise awareness for the technology and how it's going to change the business models, the way we do our businesses, the governance models, etc. So this is firstly initiated by women, but of course we are trying to motivate and trigger every person in this society, in the community, in order to take participation in this technology. The more the technology enthusiasts are here, the more it will grow, the ecosystem will be more powerful. So that's why we are organizing these events, and thanks Annabelle is also here with us today. So at this point I will leave the floor to Ayşegül to ask for the first questions, and then we'll have a good chat.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. As Istanbul Blockchain Women, we are so excited to have amazing women from all around the world, and it's very great to see that those women are in the very important situations, critical situations in the crypto ecospace. While blockchain is a borderless technology, it should be borderless in all spaces. So, Amber, not Amber, we did this. Annabelle, I'm sorry. Amber is always in our minds. Annabelle, can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. Again, my pleasure to be here and chatting with you guys. My name is Annabelle Huang. I'm a partner at Amber Group, and Amber Group is a global crypto finance service provider, and we service institutional and retail investors around the world. We have offices in Asia, including Hong Kong and Taipei, as well as in Singapore and Korea. And we also expanded into North America 2 years ago with a presence in Vancouver. So we do have a 24/7 coverage to help our clients trade and earn yield on their crypto. And for the more sophisticated users, they can trade even more instruments like swaps and options with us, or do borrow lending with us, anything on a secondary market in crypto for your needs. And a little bit more on myself. So I was born and raised in China, and then I went to the US for college. I studied math and finance, and after I graduated, I went to work in New York on Wall Street. Actually quite literally on Wall Street, where I was working at Deutsche Bank as FX and rate structuring for a few years before I decided to leave and move into crypto, at first with a DeFi platform building a decentralized trading platform on Ethereum for a year, and that's when I moved back to Asia. And then I've since joined Amber to help out across trading, across building our products, and now really looking after our global expansion strategies in different markets, and including Turkey, which is our newly go-to-market strategy places.
I was just gonna ask you, we're planning to also get into the Turkish markets. What do you think about the Turkish market, and what will be your strategy briefly about our market?
Yeah, so just from the research we've seen, Turkey is among one of the most active and highest adoption in terms of crypto globally. I think, and there are so many different projects coming out of the space, and a lot of users are actively buying and selling and holding crypto. And especially with what's happening with the local currency. I used to trade dollar lira as well, and just seeing where it is going these days, I think perhaps there's even more need for an alternative as as a currency, as a payment, etc. But in terms of the existing players, I think mostly exchanges focusing on trading, but we also offer additional asset management services where people can earn yield on their existing portfolio while they trade or maybe do other things. But I think it is a nice addition to the market, and we're bringing our expertise where we've serviced different markets for the past 4 years. And we want to bring that expertise and that institutional grade services to the broad Turkish market. And obviously we want to iterate our product as we go, and design something that is uniquely for the Turkish users. So yeah, very, very excited to start this journey.
Yeah, that's great to hear. In Turkish market, we are also, I think, the number 3 in the worldwide as a crypto user. So we all aware of the increasing of the crypto assets, and we are trying to spread blockchain technology in more spaces. So, as in this perspective, what do you think about the Bitcoin and the future of crypto? How do you see this?
It's a great question. I think myself, I came from a traditional finance space, and the reason that I decided to leave and join crypto is because I saw the potential of the blockchain technology, how it could revolutionize finance and many other applications as we see it. I think, we all saw what internet did, or Web 2.0 did to the way we interact with each other. Even right now, we're chatting on Zoom or YouTube, and also in the finance space. So I think it's really the technology that brought me to the space, and the future is limitless. I think 20 years ago, it's perhaps difficult for us to imagine that we can watch stream Netflix live on a tiny phone real time, right? And that's where we are. We are perhaps where the internet era was 20 years ago in terms of blockchain. So I think there's so much more room for the innovation that comes out of the blockchain space, and it could be applied in so many different places. Amber Group, ourselves, we specialize in perhaps more financial applications, but think even in that space, that it's also quite limitless. And crypto, right now, crypto tokens we know are the more crypto native ones like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but we're seeing the trend of more assets being brought on chain. That includes stable coins, where it is essentially dollar or other fiat being represented on chain. And then you mentioned NFTs, which is essentially non-fungible real life items, maybe art or other assets being represented on chain. And that again could go in so many new directions. So I think I see a world where blockchain is used in more of our daily lives, and that revolutionize a lot of the ways that we interact and do things. And then we want to be at the center of it, at the forefront of it, leading at least a financial application growth. Yeah.
I think we are the real witnesses of the transformation of finance right now. What you have told about the Ambers, what they are doing, is the real transformation, and we are living it. I think, let's say 10 years ago, we were talking about it, but today it's alive, and it's very, very exciting to hear and live all those. Annabelle, you are a successful woman in the space. What do you think about having so few women, especially at the high level positions in the crypto ecosystem?
Yeah, this is a great question. I mean, it's a reality, sadly, and it's not uniquely to crypto. From my finance days in the tech field, it is quite common to have fewer women in general. And I think crypto is kind of a marriage between finance and tech. So in fintech, it's perhaps even less so, even fewer women at the intersection of a very cutting edge technology and a very brand new world. So I think we have to acknowledge that this is where we're at, but we have so much more room to grow. And that's why I'm very passionate about building communities around women in crypto. And hopefully we could encourage and mentor more women to come into the space. Just telling them, it's not something crazy to do. It's not so risky. For men and women, but I think especially a lot of the women candidates out there who are thinking about moving to crypto but might have reservations. And I've been through that. I think a lot of us probably have been in the same boat, and I'd be happy just to connect with more of you guys and more of the ladies out there, and really build a community where we can share a lot of our past experiences together. It's not about pointing fingers at different genders. I think it's just acknowledging where we're at and how we can do better, because I do think diversity is very important, especially in a space that's so early and in its early stage. I think we need a diversity of opinion, of different backgrounds, so that we can build more innovative things and more inclusive products for users globally. And that needs representation for both genders, for users in all different cultural backgrounds, etc. So I think that's what the space needs, and for those of us who are already in it, I think it is upon us. It is our responsibility to encourage more women to come in to really build up the community.
You are totally right. Like, we also believe the importance of being a community. What we are trying to do in Turkey as Istanbul Blockchain Women is create a community to at least equalize the gender. We don't want it like the traditional finance, man-dominant space. We want it to be equal, and we don't want especially in the future, we don't want to talk about genders or underline anything like I am a woman, you are a man. I think this should be genderless, and we should not talk about it.
Definitely, I agree. Very good points, and it's really quite amazing to know that as a person who is coming from a traditional finance environment, with all her experience and all her knowledge to put into the ecosystem. So that's what we are trying to explain to every woman and everyone in the society. Please come and join us, because we are sure that you have something to support or to give as an advantage or to give as an asset to this ecosystem with your knowledge, with your experiences, and with your back career. Because now this technology is not only a software or not only a computer engineer's job, and this is going to be accomplished by everybody, or as you said, with the maximum diversity in the ecosystem, and with the inclusion of everyone into the ecosystem, so that it will be successful. If you're talking about a movement here, if you're talking about a social movement here, not only a technological development, because it's going to change everything as we talk about. People like you, people like Ayşegül, people like me are also needed in this ecosystem. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a technological person. I'm also a ex-banker. I used to work in a bank for 20 years. So it really fits here. And everybody will fit in here. So we should encourage everyone here in the society.
Exactly.
Exactly. I was gonna ask, like, crypto is like 24/7 and very active market. Women can be, scared of this thing, because it's very alive. Even there is no high level barriers as an entrance, but still it's an active market. What shall we do to encourage women to come into this society or the crypto world? What do you offer? What's your comments?
It's funny. I used to joke when I used to trade FX, it was a 24/5 market, and that was already pretty demanding. And now, of course, I moved myself to something that's 24/7, but absolutely loving it. So I think passion is the most important thing. We're not saying that women should be in finance or in crypto, right? I think it's for those who like it, who genuinely loves this market or the innovation that comes out of it and is passionate, and maybe don't mind longer hours or maybe more volatile markets. And for them, right, I think it is a great fit. And in terms of advice, I think again. For a lot of the candidates that I interview, I always ask them, do you believe in this space? Are you really passionate? Because that's I think is what will drive success in the long run. And so, I'm going to reiterate again, just find your true passion, and those of us who can make our passion what we do on a daily, I consider ourselves the lucky ones. And for the women out there who are perhaps a little bit intimidated by this 24/7 market, not everybody has to be up, right? Nobody can do that. We have our traders in Asia and also in North America, so that everybody can take shifts. We have other roles, including business development or other marketing or other roles that are less intensive physically, I would say, in terms of hours, but still, gets you at the forefront of the space, seeing everything that's interesting, and really be the one that drives the business. So yeah, I think it really is, if you're interested in the crypto space, there's so many different areas you can go into. Trading is one, maybe investing is one, or building a specific protocol. There are so many different ways you can get involved. So really, if you're passionate about the space, just start looking.
You're right. Oh, so let's get back to the market. Nowadays it's just like before, it's crazy days. So shall we get a little bit of your comments about the market? There is Elon Musk right now. Tomorrow there might be another person. What do you think generally about the outage, that Elon Musk's comments and all this stuff?
I think, we've seen just such a crazy and incredible bull run since last year, with the helps of the likes of Elon Musk and other high profile investors. But I think Elon Musk himself is just an individual participant, player in his space. He does have more influence than maybe the rest of us. But whatever he says and the impact on the market, I believe is short term. over the long run, I think we're still on the trajectory of crypto breaking out to be major asset classes that people cannot afford to ignore. So I think that thesis, that narrative is still intact. Of course, it is still a very volatile market. We can see a crazy bull run, just as we can see a massive sell-off as we saw yesterday. But I think in the long run, I'm still very bullish on the space. And even yesterday, we saw a lot of our clients just waiting to buy, to purchase more at every dip. So I think the conviction is there, the market validation is there, and crypto is here to stay, especially Bitcoin, as that really played out to be a inflation hedge or a macro hedge, or alternative asset class where a lot of the capital allocators believe to be a superior risk reward trade. So we're seeing that play out still, and Musk's comment is not going to change that overnight.
Right, and I now I'm going to ask a question. So we are always hearing about the institutional adoption from the US part or the other part of the ocean. And how about the institutional adoption in Asia environment, the Asia market? Because we cannot hear any about this. Always the known names, the MicroStrategy keeps on buying, and he's always, texting every day, or I'm sorry, just posting every day, not of course testing me, but posting every day that he is buying also more and more Bitcoin. But when the Bitcoin price just went down, also the MicroStrategy stocks also go down, and taking the whole Nasdaq and S&P together down. So how about the situation in Asia? Is there the individual or the retail investors more leading the space, or taking the space? The miners have a dominancy in especially in China, but how about the institutional adoption in terms of store of value, or buying cryptos in their assets in their holdings, for example, in the company holdings?
Yeah, that is definitely happening. Every day I'm speaking to family offices or different high net worth individuals in a space in Asia, maybe in Hong Kong, Singapore, that are looking to allocate into crypto, especially with the price drop yesterday. Like today, just had nonstop conversations like that. And I think, a lot of them are US based, but a lot of them are also Asia based. On the institutional front, maybe nobody as high profile as MicroStrategy or as Tesla, but Meitu, that's based in Hong Kong, or I guess it's a Chinese company, but listed in Hong Kong. There are probably the higher profile ones in Asia, and behind that, a lot of these high net worth individuals, ultra high net worth individuals, family offices, different funds are actively allocating in Bitcoin or even other cryptos.
Perfect. And how about the DeFi ecosystem, especially in Asia environment? Or is it also under the spotlight? Are there being new startups or new projects being developed recently? If you know about, maybe you can just share about the new coming very interesting projects so far on DeFi ecosystem. If you have information, maybe you can share with us.
I think perhaps I'm biased because I am more involved in the DeFi space back when I was in New York. But I feel like even with what we saw last summer at least, a lot of the innovation on the DeFi projects front is still coming out from the US. Over in Asia, I think a lot of them are more probably liquidity providers or yield farmers who participated. The activity level is very high, the participation, the enthusiasm is really high over in Asia, but in terms of R&D and innovation, perhaps US is still leading. But I'd love to see more Asia-based projects come out with innovative products. And I do think it is likely, as we get more Solidity or other blockchain smart contract engineers in Asia in general. So that's a great development to see. And for us, I would say we're Asia based with global access, but we're also very active in the DeFi space. So Amber incubated a DeFi project called Keeper DAO, along with our friends in ecosystem who is behind Wren protocol. And what we build is basically an on-chain risk underwriter, or that we have keeper bots that actively capture liquidation or arbitrage opportunities across different DEX or decentralized lending protocols, and a lot more features coming out as well. So I would say that's not to pat ourselves on the back, but that's one of the projects that we work on, stemmed from Asia.
Perfect.
While starting about, you were telling about Amber, you emphasized the regulations in Turkey or the worldwide. What do you think about the regulations, like how they should be, or what do you think the constructive regulations should be?
I mean, at this point, I think, at least from members' perspective, we're very willing to comply with any regulatory rules. We consider ourselves compliant in many ways. We're almost self-regulating ourselves because there haven't, even before any clear rules are put out. But that's the issue, right? In a lot of the jurisdictions, the rules are not clear, so we have nothing to follow besides our own very robust or stringent rules. So what we would love to see is more regulators in the space started really taking crypto or blockchain more seriously, and start putting out clear rules in terms of what people are allowed to do, and how it will be regulated, because I think it's very needed for this asset class to really go mainstream. And I think in Turkey, you guys probably know this better than I do, but recently there are more regulations coming out of space, and that could be a good more positive for the market. But that also means that you need more regulated players in the space, so that the investors and users in Turkey are protected and could invest in a very safe ways.
I also feel the same on myself. Like when there is a positive regulation for the society, it will grow more in healthy position. So I totally agree with you.
So I also have a question for Annabelle. Because as you see it more closely, as you observe it more closely, or you live it already, what do you think about the CBDCs, especially by the Chinese digital currency, which is currently launched on the wallets or digital system? How it's going to affect the global trade or regional trade? Is it going to, how it's going? I mean, the adoption, is it fast? Are people using it? Because you already have alternative ways of, I mean, in China, people are using the other solutions as WePay, Alipay, I guess. So how about the new digital currency of the Chinese government just launched? Is it going well? What's the latest situation?
So it's still in trials phase. So DCEP, digital currency, electronic payment, as we call it, the Chinese version of CBDC, it is still under trial and in a few major cities. I do see kind of the ECNY sign in some places in Shenzhen, in Shanghai, even in Beijing, the capital. So I think the central bank PBOC is taking it very seriously and want to roll out the digital version of or the fiat yuan. But like you said, right, people are already very used to electronic payments with Alipay and WeChat Pay. The only difference is that one is a digital representation of the cash that you have and issued by the central bank versus the Alipay or the fintech, the digital wallet services built on top of commercial banks that uses money issued by the central bank. But from a user perspective, the experience is quite similar. So it'd be interesting to see the adoption and people's, at least, what they think about digital currency or digital payments as it get more widely spread, maybe beyond just China. Be interested to see globally, especially in places where people perhaps are not used to digital payments yet, how they will affect. I think it is positive because it makes people aware of the blockchain technology. That's the underlying technology being used in DCEP and what that means and what does digital wallet mean. And so I think people will naturally be curious and perhaps learn more about the space. Crypto, on the other hand, is quite different. Stable coins perhaps kind of stand in the middle, but again, different, right? Being issued by private companies, maybe regulated in a regulated way, but still very different from a regular body like the central banks.
Right. So what Annabelle is most excited in the crypto ecosystem? What makes you excited most?
So many things. And I think, like I said, it's still just a possibility of what this underlying technology can bring us in terms of applications that we'll see. Right now, I mean, I've always been passionate about DeFi, and that's why I decided to move into the space. And I think we're just at the beginning where we saw decentralized spot exchanges and just decentralized lending platforms. But what about other things? What about derivatives? What about even something that's inherently more crypto native versus what we see in the traditional finance space? And I think also in terms of NFTs, just I myself are just learning about it, but there has already been so many interesting projects coming out of the space. And that perhaps we were talking about art or gaming, but could also be applied in different financial applications. Look at Uniswap V3, it is using NFTs to mint your LP positions, right? And then just opens up so many more possibilities, and that is crypto native and blockchain native. So I think we're at the stage where we're probably trying to leverage a lot of what we've learned, what we've seen in the traditional markets, and now really innovating it, taking it to just really utilizing the underlying technology and enable more features.
So that's really very exciting to see what the future will bring to us, because as you mentioned, I mean, just as an example, NFTs being a collateral in this ecosystem will be really a huge door to open for wide use of white users in order to get financing, in order to get loans, in order to even give your assets as a yield
exactly
bringing asset to you. So it's really quite
even we are in the ecosystem, like we spend so much time on blockchain and crypto, like it's never-ending learning process. Each day it's a new thing, and there's so much to do with blockchain, what I believe. We have I'll ask you two questions, and I know the time difference is huge, and you are so kind to accept our, meeting this time. So, Annabelle, what yesterday called as Black Wednesday for cryptocurrency market, one of our listeners asked, what do you think about this issue of near future?
I think what we saw yesterday is perhaps a run-up of what I'd like to think mid to late cycles of a bull market where people are really investing into altcoins are really down the risk spectrum. All the pet coins and food coins and the leverage ratio is high in the market. So yesterday was more of a spot-led sell-off that triggered a series of liquidations for people who have leveraged positions. And then a few of the major block exchanges, including the blockchain network itself, were quite congested, and some people were not able to top up collateral in time, so that kind of escalated and triggered more liquidations. And when the U.S. session opened, there was some rising inflation expectations. So U.S. equities were down, and basically all the risk assets were trading weak, and that also spilled over to crypto. So we saw another kind of sell-off. But again, these are all very short-term actions. After what happened yesterday, I think the market positionings are much healthier and perhaps positioned for a short-term, more stable market for in the short run. And I think my long-term conviction stays intact. We're still very early. If you look at the next cycle, maybe in 3 years or another 10 years, this kind of short-term correction or volatility is not so significant. But everybody, please do manage your risk properly, so you are staying with the market for the long run.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what would your advice be for the traders, but you already mentioned.
Yeah, risk management I think is definitely the top priority for us here at Amber, being traders and market makers ourselves, and also I think for all the investors out there. I always tell my clients, even just friends in the space, if you find yourself difficult to sleep at night, that probably means your position is too large, and you shouldn't be taking on this much risk. Another thing I tell my clients a lot is in the crazy bull market, right? A lot of you're seeing a lot of the unrealized gains on paper, and you're enjoying it, but never count it as your realized gain until you go ahead and close the positions, because then you'll get upset when we see a 30% drawdown or sell off in the market, like what we see yesterday. So don't count your chickens too early, and manage your risk properly, do your own research. I think, and then, that's just make sure that you will be along for the ride.
That's the crucial point, right? Do your own research. Unfortunately, there's a huge community who's running after persons, who's running after people just without going deep dive into the details, and just buying, just seeing it as a bet, just seeing it as a gamble. Short term, very short term, unfortunately. But I hope the vision will change in the future as the more people get more educated, the more aware of what the technology brings, and then I think the market will also will come to a new saturation, and then the investments will be much more sensible. Instead of a lot of shit coins moving everywhere, and they're just making a lot of multiple gains. I just cannot understand how.
But we're already seeing that, right? With the institutions coming into space, they're more sophisticated in terms of risk management, and They're not usually here trading on 100x leverage. They have their own thesis. They are here for the long run. So I think market is becoming more mature, and for them, they use different instruments to express their view, to hedge their risk. So they're not easily washed out, and everyone is here for the long run. So I don't. The market has plenty of liquidity and a lot of believers. So yeah, I do think we're very well positioned for the long run.
Perfect.
I think, with the help of leaders like you, people will be more aware about risks and the philosophy of this ecosystem. It's not something that you earn or lose in one day, but there's a big philosophy behind. So we always try to understand or tell people what is it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the philosophy upon which that we build our products as well. We're more focused on growing and preserving your wealth, as opposed to perhaps being a gambler and get rich fast. We limit the leverage to at most 5x on our platforms, and we do emphasize in terms of user education and our daily conversations with our clients the importance of thinking long term. So I really do hope more people feel the same way.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much. Do we have any more questions? I guess we don't have.
I think for now that's all. Yes.
That's all. Yes.
And it's already too late.
Yeah.
It's okay. Crypto is 24/7.
Definitely, but it was a very tiring and exhausting day for you at these 2 days. So thank you still for to have joined us today in this very crazy hectic day.
Yeah, but it's always great to chat with the ladies in the space. That gets me so happy every time I see more women, especially more amazing women in this space. So always happy to do that.
Thank you so much, and we hope to meet also in person and face to face in a physical environment. Maybe we will have physical events that we can also have you as our guest to our audience, and it will be very great for us.
Yes.
Without masks,
Istanbul, right? It was
Without
great.
masks.
I've only visited once, but I would love to go back.
Thank you, okay. It was a very great chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Have a good
Annabelle.
rest of the day. Yes, thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. And please follow us on YouTube and on our social media accounts. And thanks to Annabelle again for this very nice chat. Ayşegül, thank you also for this nice co-host position. So everybody, take care. Please stay healthy. Keep your distance. And we'll meet again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.